that X that says searched none. It says there's nothing, no one in there, but there are. I'd like to share with you a film that was made by one of our co-founders, Cathe Neukum, with film footage of the animal rescue operation after the 9/11 disaster at the World Trade Center site, and how this experience at the World Trade Center, unknowingly to us at the time, really strengthened our commitment to do what we could to improve the lives of street cats in New York City. Before you watch the film, I think maybe some context might help. Back in the year 2000, at the turn of the century, was just the beginning of the community cat movement in New York City. We didn't call them community cats then, we just knew them as feral cats. And the group of us that went on to found Urban Cat League were just getting started learning how to trap cats, finding spay-neuter with the help of the ASPCA and the Humane Society, getting them neutered and vaccinated, and figuring out how to care for cats in the street effectively and efficiently. It was only because of this fledgling experience that we were called in to help at the World Trade Center, because the city didn't have the funding or the manpower or the skill to do trapping of cats. They called us in to help rescue displaced domestic strays, domestic cats that had somehow gotten out of the broken windows of the apartment where they were living, and reunite them with their owners. The perimeter of the gigantic field that was the World Trade Center was surrounded by restaurants and businesses and apartment buildings, and that area, people were evacuated and they were not allowed to return. Some people for over a month, they weren't allowed to go back, even to get their animals. And we were called in at the behest of the ASPCA, and they were finding it very difficult to rescue these animals in certain situations. And so we went down not quite knowing what to expect. And fortunately, Cathe had the forethought to bring a camera with her on a couple of our trips, and she made a beautiful film. Sorry to delay you seeing it, but I just thought a little context might make it interesting why we were down there, why they had asked us. There was really no one else with experience at that point in time working with feral cats. And why I say feral cats is what became clear is with the Klieg lights on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week during the recovery project where the first responders were working, suddenly people were seeing cats roaming around in the middle of the night, alerting us that they were domestic strays when in fact they were feral cats that had lived there all along in the street. No one had ever seen them. We found it difficult to get into a lot of buildings. We didn't have access legally without the express consent of the owner of the building. And many of the people had locked the doors and left, leaving mousers, animals in the building that weren't apartment owners. Of course, the people with domestic animals were desperate to get them back, and they were often able to go into their apartment and get their animal. But we were asked to get animals in odd situations. One was a cat on the roof of a building that people were seeing from the New York Stock Exchange. And we went looking for the building that they thought they were seeing, and it turned out to be the building next to it. We got access to that building, and we found 4 animals in that building. And then we finally got to the cat. The only reason the cat survived, we did not have legal access to go into that building, but many of those buildings, all the windows were completely blown out. The cat had gone out the basement window, gotten to a fire escape, and gone up to the top of the roof, which is the only reason that we were able to rescue that cat. With Cathe's permission, I'd like to dedicate the sharing of this video to the memory of Chantal Vincelli. Chantal was a feeder of community cats in Harlem. She died at the World Trade Center, and we were asked to go and rescue 3 of the cats in her apartment. Chantal fed the cats at a colony there on her block. She fed them daily, but she also had rescued 17 domestic strays from the street, and those were all adopted by her friends after she died. But 3 of them, it turned out, were not domestic strays. 3 of them were feral cats that she had rescued, somehow trapped them, gotten them into her apartment, and the friends were totally unable to confine them. So we were called to go in. One of them had climbed into a cupboard, gotten into a cupboard, and closed the door behind it, of course, fearful of who we were, what we wanted, where had the other 14 cats gone, what was going to happen. We were able to place them. It was a great honor. I never met Chantal. I never met Chantal, but it was an honor to be able to help the cats that she had cared for, at least 3 of them. And in her memory, I'd like to show you this film footage of animal rescue at the World Trade Center after 9/11, and how it, in a way, coincided with the birth of a movement to help community cats in New York City, how we were inspired to create a feral cat sanctuary shortly thereafter. I won't say I hope you enjoy it, because it's a very poignant film, not something that one watches cheerfully. But I'm so grateful that Cathe took the time to put it together, and that she had the foresight to bring a camera with her. I don't think it's something that anyone would know anything about if she hadn't brought the camera with her that day. Thank you.
Every cat is as different as every person, and you start to respect them as an entity, and they become a personality like a human being, and you start to, that compassion that you have for people that are suffering, you realize that this cat has a real, or a dog, a stray dog. People that do rescue, they really understand that these animals have a capacity to suffer, to be unhappy, that they struggle to survive the way we struggle to survive. That X that says searched none. It says there's nothing, no one in there, but there are. Well, we're down at 120 Cedar Street, catty corner across from the site of the disaster, and we finally got access to 120 Cedar and realized that is not the roof that the cat is on, but inadvertently, while we were looking for that cat, we found 2 other cats, and we spotted 2 others. So there's a gray and white and a black cat we're still trying to catch. We've got 2 this morning out of the basement that had survived on a big bag of dry dog food that they tore into, and there was some drainage, there was some water. Okay, kitty cats.
Empty cage, nothing in it.
One is empty. Okay. Number 2 has a cat. It's the black cat. It's the big black cat. We still got to get the skinny black cat, but that's the big black cat. Are you unhappy? Let's get you out of here. Just turn the basement. All these businesses are shut down. The windows have all been blown out, and they're shut down for who knows how long. But in the meantime, we're finding other cats, and there are a lot of them out here that have been stranded for the month. Hi, are you coming to see us? I have some food for you. Hi, you look kind of skinny. You need some. Oh, you need some dinner. Yes. Hi, I have some. Come on, there's some food for you. Yes. Oh, you need some help here. Yes. Some dinner. She wants some dinner. Hey. We had found that, we'd moved these cats here, they were miserable, there was nowhere else for them to go, and I don't know what we would have done. but they have sunlight, they have birds, they have trees. And I think this is a good setting for them. When we started this, people weren't connected. They were sort of kind of doing it in the dark of night and almost embarrassed, and they were afraid because people were criticizing them. But when people started doing spay-neuter responsibly and networking and sharing information, and people saw that they were really going about it in a responsible way, it was just sort of like a fire that took off.
We're going in here. I have no idea what's in here. Joanne's been in here before, but all we know is we're going to be completely covered with fleas. And there's probably a mother cat and a bunch of two mother cats and a bunch of kittens in there. There's 1, 2, 3 kittens right here. Oh yes, I know. Okay. Joanne, can you get me that the door? Good. Okay. So the cats are probably up on the rafters. Okay, she's probably heading back toward her kittens.
Do you think those are her kittens, though?
Oh, I don't know, unless we find another mother and some other kittens. Let's go the whole perimeter.
Every cat is different. Our goal is to try and find out what this cat wants, what's best for it. It might be living on the street in the Bronx. It might be in a sanctuary like this one, or, you know, hopefully living on someone's lap in front of the fire. But until we find out what's best for that cat, we're not happy. If you keep them alive, and you give them food, and you try and take care of them, hopefully you'll get it right eventually. And I think we got it right here. I think we stumbled onto it. We weren't all real experienced when we started. We wanted to do the right thing, but we didn't know whether we were. We were moving cats. Some of them were very unhappy, and we tried our best to give them a good quality of life and do the right thing.